Manish, here we see that Manish Sisodia's counsel is arguing this policy wasn't even implemented. It was scrapped, withdrawn by the government only because doubts were raised regarding it. So considering that this is a state subject, it were the officials who brought this, the final draft was presented before the Delhi LG, he had to approve it. Where was the Delhi administration in the wrong? They have not even implemented this policy in the first place.
Well, Nabila, these are interesting arguments happening before the court as the CBI is seeking Manish Sisodia's custody. Now, as far as this ground is concerned, remember, this is one of the grounds based on which the CBI decided to arrest Manish Sisodia. This is one of the grounds on the basis of which the CBI wants custody of Manish Sisodia, and now there is a counter from Manish Sisodia's lawyer. Now, what Manish Sisodia is saying about the leakage, Manish Sisodia's lawyers are saying about the leakage of excise policy. What CBI is saying that this policy was leaked to the important players who wanted to do business in Delhi, the business in liquor. Now this is why this is a ground for CBI, because they have retrieved the WhatsApp chat, and in those WhatsApp chat, Vijay Nair was the person who sent this draft copy of excise policy to certain accused, including Samir Mahendru. Now that the CBI has retrieved that WhatsApp chat, and the draft policy was sent to those people. But CBI is making a case here that this draft policy was changed on the instructions of Manish Sisodia only because they wanted to ensure that the businessmen who want to do business in Delhi, they could get maximum benefit, and that is why the profit, which was earlier 5% in the earlier policy, it was increased to 12%. That's the case CBI is making. But the lawyer is arguing, lawyers of Manish Sisodia are arguing that if there is a policy which they are contemplating, they can take public opinion. And the same policy was even sent to LG. So there was no wrongdoing. Now here there is a, we have to read between the lines what the CBI is trying to say and what the lawyers of Manish Sisodia are defending at this point of time. Apart from these grounds also, remember Nabila, and why this ground is important, because it is all about the excise policy which was formulated and implemented by the Aam Aadmi Party, especially under leadership of Manish Sisodia. Now, as far as this policy is concerned, remember, it was the Aam Aadmi Party which brought it, and later on there was an investigation by the Central Bureau of Investigation. So this entire excise policy is under scrutiny of CBI. Apart from this particular ground, what CBI is also mentioning, and the first ground was the destruction of evidence. And here, because there is section 120B criminal conspiracy, CBI has the upper hand. Why I am saying this? Because CBI has gone on to an extent of saying that Manish Sisodia, while this policy was implemented, he changed or used at least 11 phones, and those phones were either destroyed or it was misplaced. Also, they are talking about one phone which Mr. Manish Sisodia was using in January 2020. Now CBI has told the court that they want a particular phone which was used by Manish Sisodia. Of course, he has handed over a phone, but this is not the same phone which they are looking for, and that is why custodial interrogation is important. So interesting arguments. The lawyers of Manish Sisodia are defending the allegations leveled by the Central Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah,
but
of course.
at the same time,
Manish, stay with us. Pooja Shali also right outside the Rouse Avenue Court. Pooja, here you have the counsel of Manish claiming that this is the arrest itself is for ulterior motives, and considering that this is an assault to an individual and institution, this is a fit case for the court to cancel the remand. It's a strong, of course, a strong argument being put forth by the counsel of Manish Sisodia at this point, but even the CBI, on the contrary, has enough and more allegations to ensure that he remains in custody. What's the mahal right outside the Rouse Avenue Court? Do we see any kind of protest by the Aam Aadmi supporters?
Well, first, interesting live arguments inside, Nabila, isn't it? Because what the counsels for Manish Sisodia are doing is they are putting back on the court of the CBI and also of the Lieutenant Governor. They are saying Lieutenant Governor also made changes. Why is that not being considered? Even though it was a state subject, we took the approval of Lieutenant Saxena, and he did give that approval to make changes. So they are basically saying that it's not just us. If you want to hold any accountability, hold it to the Lieutenant Governor as well. But they're also adding that at this point, we are a public servant, referring to Manish Sisodia, who's a serving minister with some of the most important portfolios, and that this is an important point at hand. The situation is sensitive. This is not a case fit for remand. The question is if arrest and the judge has asked, I must add here, the judge has asked, question is if arrest and custodial interrogation is allowed or not. Sisodia's lawyer has said this case is an assault to individual, the institution. Remand will send a wrong message. It is a fit case for you to decline the remand. That is what the counsel for Sisodia has said. We have big news coming in, and we'll just try and put forth, but I just want to add here what Sisodia's lawyers have said, that what changed yesterday, that a finance minister of the state had to be arrested. What big news
coming in, it appears that the order on Manish Sisodia has been reserved. The court reserves the order on Manish Sisodia, even as arguments were being made by Manish Sisodia's counsel, claiming that Sisodia is innocent. He, of course, can't be forced to admit to a crime which he hasn't done. Several points raised by Manish Sisodia's counsel. I'm going to cut across to Nalini for more on that. Nalini, a quick word. The court reserves the order on Manish Sisodia. What does this mean?
Well, it means that the arguments have completed, Nabila. Both the CBI and Manish Sisodia's defense team have completed their arguments, and the judge has retired into his chamber to now deliberate upon these arguments. And maybe in an hour or so from now, we can expect for the order to be pronounced. It is crucial that the order be pronounced today itself, because yesterday Manish Sisodia was placed under arrest by the CBI. He had to be produced before the court within 24 hours, which the CBI has done. And now the Special CBI court at Rouse Avenue will decide whether or not CBI will get that 5 days of custody of Manish Sisodia as they have been asking for. The judge right now has retired into his chamber. It will take him some time to draft the order and to deliberate upon the arguments that have been made. But one thing before retiring into the chamber, one thing that the judge had made clear is that he'll be looking into only the aspect of whether or not any remand should be granted in this case, which means, is there a requirement for Manish Sisodia to be under CBI custody so that he can face questioning in this case. So the CBI's case and what arguments they've put forth before the court are going to be extremely crucial, because if the court finds that this Manish Sisodia has in fact been cooperating with the CBI, has been forthcoming with all of the disclosures that he's made, then there will be no reason to keep him in custody and to allow custodial interrogation. But if any of the arguments that the CBI has put forth has held any water with the CBI court, then they are going to allow at least few days of custody to the CBI so that they can dig a little bit further and they can get to the bottom of exactly how much Manish Sisodia was involved in the drafting and the implementation of the excise policy. Now the CBI, of course, is alleging that his involvement was very crucial. He was one of the main men behind the liquor policy because he was the head of the department at that time. But as to whether or not the court has accepted and agreed to that is something that we'll know only in a few minutes from now once the order is pronounced. The order no doubt will be pronounced today itself, Nabila. They will have to give the order today as to whether or not he is going to be released on bail or whether he is going to be sent to police custody or judicial custody. Right. But the CBI, of course, hoping that those 5 days of police custody will be granted and that they'll be able to extract something relevant in these 5 days' time, which will allow them to take more custody in the coming few days.
Nalini, if I could ask you to slightly elaborate for us and clarify, here is a Delhi liquor policy, an excise policy that's been scrapped by the government after questions were raised on its irregularity. It wasn't even implemented. So the CBI investigation is on the intent with which this policy was drafted. Considering it wasn't implemented, does that cut any slack for the Aam Aadmi Party in the court of law?
Well, Nabila, I stated this earlier also. If you go back and you see the press release that was issued by the CBI makes it very clear that what they are investigating are two things in this case. One, the drafting of this policy, and two, the implementation of this policy. So the drafting of the policy comes first. Now what they are essentially trying to pinpoint is as to whether or not this policy was drafted in a way so that it could benefit certain businessmen or certain companies that were indulging in liquor trade, liquor sale.